Hey everyone, on this show I'm going to be finally doing a review of the new Fast and Furious ride in Universal Studios Orlando. Before I get on to that though, I just want to let you all know that we're going to be on a major road trip beginning on June the 1st. You can follow along with us at our YouTube channel if you want. We'll be doing some live streaming along the way. That's at youtube.com/these amazing places where you're at right now. So if you click on that little bell there, if you subscribe and click on that bell, then you'll be notified when we go live. And we'd love to have everybody along, as many people as possible. You know, it's nothing worse than going down the road and live streaming and trying to show people some sights and nobody's interested. But I understand everyone's lives are busy. So we're also going to be, though, in Universal Hollywood, let's see here, on Friday, June the 8th, we should be there. And so I don't know if we'll live stream. We'll be filming some stuff from there, but you never know. Maybe we'll do some live streaming. So anyway, we'd be happy to see everybody. Just come along and follow us and hang out with us maybe a little bit on YouTube. Anyway, so let's get on with the attraction here. So I wanted to let you know right off the bat that this attraction, it's a nice attraction. It's very short. You're going to spend far more time, looking at things in the queue than you are actually in the ride itself. But once it gets going, it is pretty fun. I did enjoy it, and most of all, this is going to be a real people eater. Once this thing is really up and rolling, then I think it's going to just gobble the people off the street. So if you should decide that you do want to ride it, I think it's going to be a great place to get off the street, get into some air conditioning, and enjoy something for a little bit. So, and at the rate, I think that it'll eat people up. You could probably ride it several times just by going into standby. But as you watch this video, then you're basically going to see something else that I tell you, something I got into when I got on the attraction itself. So let's get on into this here. So right off the bat here, when I walked into the standby entrance, you basically are going to walk into an open courtyard. And as you can see, there's foliage and stuff around. I don't think you want to be trapped in this place in the middle of summer. With the concrete and the foliage, even though they have those little ceiling fans running up above, this area is going to be blazing hot. So hopefully you've set up a virtual line pass, or the lines are short and you can get through that quickly. This area right in here, thank the good Lord above, is air conditioned. And this is what you're going to be in for most of the time that you're waiting in line to get into this attraction. Let's hope, as I said, it continues to gobble people up quickly, and you're not even waiting in this area for very long. I say that because in some areas here, there is some music that plays, and it's kind of that repeating sound of music that after a while I would think would begin to drive you out of your mind. So as much as some people may like looking at the cars and stuff that you see here, as we're kind of going and making our way through the queue, that repetitive music sound just gets old. And so it's really kind of hard to enjoy anything but the air conditioning at that point, where you're standing and you're waiting and you're waiting. I did notice too, along the way, there were really no drinking fountains. So this is really the area that I began to notice the music. And so let me jump out here for a second. I just want to play you just a short clip of it, and maybe you can get an idea of how annoying this music could become. Okay, so yeah, you get a little bit of an idea here. Hopefully, as I said, you can make your way through here quickly, and it won't be a problem. As you can see, this is just like your standard warehouse. I'm pretty sure that they have a probably a endorsement contract with Jegs, because you do see the Jegs sign in several places. So anyway, you're seeing basically, you know, kind of what I saw as I was going through it. Nothing stunning, nothing that's going to make you happy to be standing in this queue for long periods of time and waiting. And so let's hope that that doesn't happen to you. Now, this truck right here, this tow truck, the only place you're going to see it is not in the movies, but you will see it in the attraction itself here. Just really for a fairly short amount of time, you see the truck. But it interested me quite a bit that they would choose to build this thing and actually put it into the attraction itself, into the queue, because this had to cost quite a bit of money for something that really wasn't even in the movies. So anyway, let's not spend a lot of time here. As you can see, continue to move through the queue. Nothing exciting, some little interesting things along the way. We're just kind of zip along through this. Okay, so now we're into a one of the first queue areas where you begin to see screens, things like that. There are actually some places in here that they put some, I guess, memorabilia. I know there's a picture of Paul Walker and a shirt of his, who's, of course, one of the guys who in real life passed away, who was in these movies. So it's really just kind of nothing more exciting than this screen speaking to you and this character. And so next, then you end up in this room, which is like I guess the queue before you're going to get ready to get on your party bus. And so once again, they kind of do this playoff thing here. Other than killing time, and I'm sure they're still working on this team member and this position to make it maybe a little more interesting. What you are going to see here, though, is you're going to see, what's his name? Ludacris comes up on the screen, as he does in many places. He's probably used most prominent in this. But then you see Vin Diesel, and you'll see The Rock. They just kind of phone it in here. You see a picture of them, but no moving video up on the screen. And so you'll hear them talk, and really, nothing major here. And so this area right here is what you're going to see. This is really shortly before you get ready to board onto the party bus. Now, I want you to listen, and you'll see what happened to me here, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to do take 2 here, trying to get into Fast and Furious. It broke down the first time. I actually waited in standby, but if you get into the standby line, guys, even if you haven't thought about it, set up a virtual line pass just in case it breaks down. That's what I did. And sure enough, it paid off. All right, I'm out. Okay, so as you can see here, virtual line, get it. Even if the standby line looks short, make a virtual line pass anyway. Here's what happened. I got all the way up to almost right into the party bus, and the ride broke down. And so they told people at that point, oh, hey, just make a virtual line pass now. Get out of line, because we can't tell you when this thing is going to start back up, and then go out and make a virtual line pass, and you can get back on. Here's the deal. I had already made mine ahead of time. Everybody who climbed off this ride with me at that point and tried to make their virtual line pass found that it had crashed. The entire system had crashed, and so you couldn't even make a line pass. So they were out. I don't know what happened with them. I didn't really run into anybody at that point. I actually went and got a bite to eat, and then came back about an hour and a half later and used my virtual line pass and went on to the ride itself. So as I said here quickly in the beginning, you can see here this is the party bus that you're going to climb onto. It's just like the bus, really, as far as in its mechanicals and how it works. It's just like the bus in Kong, Skull Island, that attraction. You don't get as much movement in this, and this is not a 3D ride where you're going to wear glasses on it. So you do have to wear, I believe, seatbelts, though, inside of this. So it kind of helps to hold you in place a little more, even though there's actually less movement in this than what you have in the Kong Skull Island bus. Anyway, so you're going to head off into this. A lot of it really is just more posturing in the bus, even waiting to get to the point where then you take off, and there's a lot of other interesting things that happen. I really felt like just as it was starting to get to be fun, surprisingly, the ride ended. I would say probably the actual ride portion of this, once it gets going, is probably not over 2 or 3 minutes. So anyway, get on there, give this thing a try. I'm not telling you that I was disappointed in it. This ride is exactly what I expected, and that is something to get you out of the heat and something to eat people up. These parks are not going to be designed to put a lot more of heavy attractions in, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with that Disney Magic Kingdom effect, to where the streets are so crowded that you can't move around in them, and there's no way to manage the crowds. These parks are probably all set up, I would say, to hold 50,000 to 60,000 people in each park, and that's really filling them. You do not want to be in this if they start filling them to 80 and 90,000. So I think that actually Universal is going to remedy that by actually building some more attractions here and there just to get you off the street, give you something to do, and then probably build a third, or if you count Volcano Bay to be their third park, then they'll be building a fourth park. And so that is probably going to be announced sometime, I'm hoping, over this summer. All right, I'm getting way off track here. Get out there, enjoy this ride, Fast and Furious, and hope to see you in the parks. And I hope to see all of you beginning June 1st as we begin our trek back and forth across this country. Bye-bye.